an f8. And you think, well, that's quite slow, and that's a very small aperture. Well, let's try it. Camera steady, button down, boom. A bit dark, isn't it? And so we want to brighten that up, and we can do that a couple of ways. We can either open the aperture, do a longer exposure, which we don't really want to do, 10th of a second is already too slow, or of course we could increase our ISO. And our ISO setting is, where do we find that on there? I'm just going to see how I find that. There, you see it actually shows it right there. Just going to see if I can find it. I'm going to live figure it out. So if I push OK, do the dial, plus minus, no. I can go in the menu and do it. I'm trying to find a shortcut way of doing it. Now, it looks like I'm just going to go in the menu. So if I wanted to increase the ISO, because ISO is currently automatic, you would go into the camera, and there's your ISO sensitivity on the very top menu. Instead of auto, you would manually choose, for example, 1600.
What's ISO?
That's how sensitive it is to light. So if we go max ISO of 6400, that's very sensitive. I'll explain how it works. If you're on 100 ISO, that's the same as your old films, a 100 ISO film. That's best suited for bright light. It's a nice fine grain, but it doesn't receive light very quickly, so it's a slow exposure naturally. If you go to 200, it receives the same amount of light in half the amount of time. Or the other way of looking at it is twice the light in the same amount of time. So it's twice as reactive. One stop, they call that. And here's 2 stop, 3 stop, 4 stop. And we're going to go all the way up to 6400. Turn off the menu or tap the shutter button, either way. It's still, look, it's going to show us how it looks. And so that's how bright it will be, that same exposure.
Because it's open for a long time, is that right?
It's the same. It's actually the same shutter speed, but it's so reactive to light with that high ISO. It's too much, and so I would leave it on auto most of the time. But if you're finding that controls are jumping around, then set it on 100 because 100 is the best dynamic range in a photo. If you want to have your low lights and your highlights good, you must run a low ISO.
That's on manual and at 100.
Yeah, that's the best quality. And so let's do it properly. We've got manual ISO of 100, and now we're going to set the shutter so we're happy with it. Now I would say f8 in here is way too small, and so I'm going to open up the aperture. I'm going to widen it right up to 3.4, looking a little bit bright, and so I'm just going to stop it down with the shutter, 15th, 20th, 30th of a second. That's about natural for how it looks. And so I just adjusted it till it looked right. Well, it's a little bit dark actually. So now I'm going to go stop, back. Bang. Light, bright, beautiful manual photo. And something I'll just finish on the demo of these modes, sometimes it gets away on you. And you're looking at the screen and it's just white because it's just adjusted way too far one way or the other. There's a couple of ways you could fix that. One is you just turn the dial until it does fix. See that? Going to the right's too dark. So left is lighter. It's always left is lighter. Left is lighter and longer on your settings. The other thing you could do is go menu. We're going to reset the whole camera now. And so we're going into the tools menu. I'll just check I'm looking in the right place. Dun, 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 dun. Looking for reset, reset all. So when in doubt, if you're at the beach and you're trying to shoot manual and the screen's just gone white, you don't know what's happening, reset the whole camera. I'm pretty sure this will stay connected. You just go reset, or check actually, reset. What's the worst that could happen? So that's just reset back to factory. And so now we're going to take a photo. We're in manual again. So I'm going to go a stop rider. Take a shot, and then just check your phone. We'll make sure it's gone over, and then we know the phone's still connected.
Is it in gallery?
Yep, should be in gallery, and then an album called Snapbridge. If the planets are aligned. Actually, I've taken a few photos, haven't I? And so here they are coming through. And it's great, and so they're definitely all there. I just need to make sure that the latest photo is happening, so I'm going to take a different photo. give it a moment. Ah. Waiting. Oh, so maybe we do have to reconnect it. Alright. I'm surprised you have to reconnect it. I'm checking the app now. Snapbridge. Okay, so I've learned something today. If you reset the camera, it does reset the connection. So now we're going to fix that connection.
So if ever, that means reset it.
Oh, and if you reset the whole menu. It's not something you're going to do, to be honest, because you'd usually come and see me or pick up the phone. Okay, so menu. I'm now going into the Wi-Fi menu, and I'm going connect to smart device. Okay. Turn the camera off and on again. Doesn't like turning the camera off and on again. No, I see absolutely no action. So I'm going to fix the whole thing. And so how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go menu, forget camera, delete it, yes. Go into the menu here, I'm doing that again. Wi-Fi, connect to smart device. On the camera, connect to camera. Click on the camera. Push OK on the camera, push OK on the phone. Pairing complete. Okay, next. Download location data, no. Yes. And now we'll test it. And there it is working, so I'm glad we tested it. Okay, any other questions?
Can't think of anything at the moment. I feel overwhelmed.
Well, that's what happens, and that's why there's no point in me showing you 1,000 things that it does. You're better to come in. Quite often people bring in a list, things they want help with. They might want to know how to do a panorama. I think the best tips on this are remember the zoom is here. It's probably nicer to use than that zoom. Use the zoom on the side, and if the zoom is quite large and you get a bit lost, hold down that button at the top temporarily. It'll pull you back so you can locate the target. Let go and you'll boom right in again.
Yeah.
Always half click and focus with any camera. Make sure it's locked in focus. If it isn't, let go. Re-lock, half check. Yes, it's nice and happy focus lock. Complete the shot with a nice steady hand. Go take some beach photos and I'll see you back in with some more questions, please. Thanks, Sheila.
Thanks, Colin.